Well, hello and welcome to this week's episode of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update. I'm your host, Chris Green, Director of Network Expansion for Avoya Travel. We appreciate your time today, and we certainly appreciate all the great feedback on last week's 150th episode of On Deck with Avoya, featuring Zane Kirby, the President and CEO of ASTA, the American Society of Travel Advisors. We have more ASTA news coming up here in just a few moments, but first, a bit about today's show. Kerry Fredericks, Director of Independent Agency Support, is our returning Avoya Insider guest today. Support is and always will be a cornerstone resource for Avoya Travel. That team is amazing. Kerry is amazing at the helm, and we can't wait for that conversation, some in-depth Q&A and some advice from Kerry on the best ways that support can work for you if you're part of the Avoya Network, and certainly a key reason why you should consider Avoya Travel as your host agency, and more information always available at avoyanetwork.com. After our Q&A, we're going to touch base on our exciting next week's a big show. Got a hint for you. Former guest, they retired. They're back in the industry. We'll have all the details after our Q&A here in just a second. We'll also talk promotions, the Avoya Travel Academy, resources, social media, and all of our contact information, because we want you to have a full, well-rounded picture of Avoya Travel on why you should reach out, ask your questions, get your answers, hear our story, see if it's going to be a great fit. Well, great news came out of the ASTA Travel Advisor Conference last week in Dallas, Texas, including that Avoya Travel was named with the Top Host Agency Award, quoting our own Phil Capelli, Chief Sales Officer of Avoya Travel. We're incredibly honored to receive the Host Agency of the Year award from ASTA. This recognition is a reflection of the hard work and dedication of our entire team and underscores the comprehensive support and services that Avoya Travel provides to the independent agencies in the Avoya Network. We're committed to continuing our support for the travel advisor community at large through programs like the Avoya Academy, and are dedicated to the belief that when travel advisors succeed, we all succeed. So congratulations to the whole Avoya team for that great win. All right, time for our featured Q&A today. And today we zoom in and take a closer look. Again, as I said, a true cornerstone resource at Avoya Travel, and that's the legendary Avoya Travel Support. We're talking real people solving real issues that help you achieve your goals faster and more effectively. So please help me welcome back to the program one of my favorite guests, favorite people, Kerry Fredericks, Director of Independent Agency Support for the Avoya Network. Kerry, great to have you back as a guest on Deck with Avoya.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Always a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Kerry, before we get too far into our topics today, can you give us a brief overview of your time in the travel industry and what led you to your current role as the Director of Independent Agency Support?
Sure. I've been in the industry more years than I care to count, really. Probably started in the 1980s. My parents had a brick and mortar travel agency in Hauppauge, Long Island, and I worked there in high school, handwriting airline tickets, building itineraries through an OAG. So it was pretty antiquated at the time. I was probably one of the original diagnoses of the carpal tunnel, trying to write an airline ticket through 6 copies. I would run, and I would run their ARC reports. I went to college, did half my degree in London, where I stayed on for a couple of years thereafter. So I traveled throughout Europe. And then when I came back, I was a station manager for Budget Rent-A-Car in Islip Airport in Long Island. Then I worked for Northwest Airlines for a number of years in international res in various airports, Tampa, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio. Then I took about a 15-year sabbatical to raise 4 children and came back into the industry as an Avoya independent affiliate. And it was very early on in the concept of remote work. So it really worked well with our lifestyle. We moved about every 18 to 24 months with my husband's job all over the country with 4 kids in tow. So going for a traditional job in office just really wasn't even an opportunity. So I was thrilled to have this chance to re-enter the industry that I love as an independent agency owner. And then I did that for probably, I'm going to say about a year or 2. And then I was offered an opportunity to come on the employee side of the company, which I jumped out, although I do love selling travel and I kind of miss it because there's something pretty special about selling travel. So I came on the employee side and I've been here ever since for, I think, 10 years now, 11 years. So I love every bit about it.
Been a good fit, I know, for Avoya Travel. So nice to hear that it's been a good fit on your side as well, because we as part of the team, as somebody who was a former affiliate in the Avoya Network, what you do at the helm of support is certainly it's game changing. And I know we like to toss that word around a lot, but really what you guys do there is pretty amazing.
Thanks.
I guess being born almost into the travel industry. I mean, when did that travel bug kick in? Was it like, all right, here we're going on our first trip, you're a newborn?
Oh, I don't like to brag, but luxury was probably my first niche because our family of 7 traveled in our Woody station wagon from New York to Florida with no seatbelts to the Holiday Inn where we'd all stay in one room because kids eat free. So I guess you could say luxury is my first niche. But after that, I went on my first cruise on the Holland America Rotterdam. I was about 12 or 13 years old, and I've been hooked on cruising ever since. I've probably been on 60 or 70 cruises, and my kids have been on about 15 at least. It's a great value for a family, as you know, to cruise. So that was really our only opportunity to travel was by cruise, where my husband and I could enjoy ourselves, so the kids were doing something, at the kids club. So they continue to travel as adults, which I love to see that my kids love to travel as much as I do. And now my husband and I go on our own, which is it's kind of cool. So yeah, we love to cruise. That's our favorite vacation.
So fun to hear that arc too, because it reminds me of my own personal story of all of us loading up in the Vega and just heading off, you know what I mean, down I-95.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we stopped for the night when Dad just couldn't take it anymore from us 3 kids
That's
in the
it.
back. You know what I mean?
Right. And somebody would wake up and choose violence the next morning, and the rest of the car ride was miserable. South of the border was a destination unto itself, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. All right, let's talk support. One of my favorite topics because it's just an important area. And I should add that it allows Avoya Travel really to kind of brag and shine. So first off, congratulations for running such a core resource for Avoya. And second, share with me a little bit about what your department does and overall mission is for Avoya Travel and the network.
So our team supports basically Avoya processes, procedures, our proprietary software, Agent Power. We support the agents navigating their way through Agent Power to make certain that their bookings are all invoiced accurately and they get paid. And again, just different processes. But we're really the first point of contact for the agent, for all of the independent agencies, if they have any questions whatsoever with Avoya. And I truly mean any question whatsoever. So we triage them. We would try to answer them if we knew the answer right away. If not, we would collaborate with another team, collect the information necessary for them to answer and get the IA to answer their need. The mission or goal, if you will, being to have the IAs get back to the business of running their independent agencies and best positioning them for success in the industry. And although my team has the title independent agency support, the support really extends across just about every team within Avoya. It's almost like a relay race. When you first affiliate, network enrichment team would get you through Avoya University, and they have amazing educational opportunities there. They would pass the baton to early success, who will continue to help you build the fundamentals of building your business and closing the sale. And then after that, we would be their first point of contact from that point forth. But promotions, brand sales, accounting, paying their commission, strategic partnerships, all of the Avoya teams work collectively day in and day out. We truly believe in that shared success model.
For sure, absolutely. Let's talk about the heavy lifting though, Kerry, because the reason Avoya support is so legendary in our industry is because you and your team, you churn and burn a ton of support requests. Hit me some of the big numbers if you would.
We handle about 50,000 support requests in a year, over 4,000 in a month. It's pretty substantial. We work 7 days a week. My team works 7 days a week to support the network. The smaller number there is we do that with about 6 full-time employees. And it really, they're the real heroes here. The team that works with me, they're the real heroes. They do all the heavy lifting. So they're very dedicated and passionate, and they really enjoy working with the network. So yeah, the numbers are big. We also we fulfill all the offer matches. So the offer match program that we have allows our independent agencies to offer a booking incentive to get a booking, and then we fulfill those. We've returned to the pre-pandemic levels now. We're doing about 1,000 a month of those as well. So we're busy. We're definitely busy.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And that leads me to my next question, Kerry, because I'm hoping maybe we can help you guys a little bit by talking about this idea. But my question is kind of a two-parter. Part one, if you are somebody in the Avoya network or about to join the Avoya network, what are some of the ways to fully take advantage of what you and your team offer to get the most out of it? And part two of that is really just a flip of that question. What are some of the big no-nos when it comes to support requests that you'd love to try and nip in the bud?
Well, I think, there's such an overwhelming amount of material presented to certainly somebody new to the industry, but anybody new to Avoya in terms of the way we do business. So there's really, you've heard it all your life. There's no such thing as a silly question. We take all comers and just bring us your questions. We will find you the answer. And I'd like to say there's nothing we've never seen, but I can tell you every single day I find myself saying, did not see that coming, but here we are. Let's try and get you an answer for that. Yeah, so I mean, to ideally bring us all the information we need to solve it in one action, but that very rarely happens because we don't live in an ideal world, and a lot of times the newer independent agencies simply don't know what to put in a support request. So my advice to them would be, give us all the information you think, and maybe some of the information you don't think we would need to solve your issue, if you will, and just be in touch with us. Keep an eye out. If we ask for more information, the sooner you respond, the sooner we can get you the answers that you need. A lot of times they don't think to look, and they might have asked for something, and then 3-4 days later, they see the message and they'll come back and say, oh, by the way, it was, John Smith in Dallas I'm looking for. Well, now 3 or 4 days have transpired, and as we know, timeliness is an issue when selling travel. So just be engaged with the support requests, and then, to follow with the no-no, or there's really, it's almost counterintuitive to think that there's something you shouldn't come to us with, or a question that's maybe taboo. Really, bring us anything you have. If it's important to the independent agency, it absolutely has to be important to my team. If we've answered you 10 times on the same question, we'll happily answer you on 11th time. Ideally, you would look at the answer and learn from it, because you might have a question after hours. Our network of agencies is selling travel 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. From the Med at 4 in the morning, when I log on, there's somebody on a cruise ship in the Med selling travel. If you're waiting for somebody on my team to answer a question that you could have answered yourself, that probably would have been the way to go, just to keep an eye on the answers, see if you can learn from it. The only thing that I would say is my team will always communicate with you with professionalism and courtesy and pleasantry. We just ask for the same in return, and we get it 99.9% of the time. Every once in a while, you'll find emotions get in the way when there's a frustrating situation, but we love our IAs. We have the best IAs in the industry, the independent agencies. They're awesome.
Kerry's very sweet, but I'm going to translate some of that for you. If you reached out 10 times with the same question and received basically the same answer 10 times in a row, don't ask an 11th time. Be smart, take advantage of being a small business owner, take the onus upon yourself, and get involved and elevate your game so they can help you elevate your game too.
We always try and tell them where they can find the answer. If the answer is in Agent Power, we don't just say the answer is ABC. We say the answer is ABC, and just as an FYI, if you go here in the future, you can find that same answer. So the answers are there, but we get it. They're a little overwhelmed at first. We're here for you.
For sure, absolutely. Kerry Fredericks, Director of Independent Agency Support, is our featured Avoya Insider guest today for On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update. Kerry, we always try and drive home the point that having, honing, and enabling certain key traits and skills is a great way to find success in the travel industry. I'm assuming because you work so close with those in the network that you see some of the same traits or work habits that the great agents always seem to have and are able to use.
They are, when I think of our top agencies, our top producing agencies, they have the work ethic and the discipline. That goes without saying. They're business owners, and they are disciplined, and they have a system. They have a system for working leads and servicing after the booking, post-booking survey, post-travel things that they do. But they have a passion. They never stop learning, ever. And they travel often. And it makes a difference. It's what sets them apart from the pack, is they know their suppliers, they know their destinations inside and out. They specialize for certain. And they have a personality, that you would want to do business with. They're upbeat, they're very professional. Yeah, we've got some great independent agencies out there, and they're a big resource to some of the newer to travel agencies as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a great network, no doubt about that. And it must be rewarding for you and your team to see an agency that kind of comes in and they're scrappy and they're dedicated and they're fighting through some of the early stages of building a business. Because, right, we both know that small business ownership, it's hard. We don't ever want to give a false impression otherwise, but you have to be excited when you see a new agency starts to get it and the support and guidance that your team offers. really helps those light bulbs start to kick on.
Very much so. And I actually like talking to them when they're struggling. You can hear it in their voice, and they're just struggling. Like, was this a bad decision? And, we've all been there. I've been there, you've been there. And I tell them, if anybody tells you they haven't been there, they're lying, because everybody goes through the same thing at one point when they first start this. You're starting a business, no different than getting a storefront and opening a shoe store. You're starting a business. So you're going to have your peaks and your valleys, but persistence, be persistent, don't give up, rethink your systems, look at things every once in a while. But to see that light bulb come on, where it just comes together and they make that sale, it really does. It takes a village, and we all congratulate them, and we all feel good about it. Early success and network enrichment promos, all of us can say, check her out, check him out. He just made the sale, because we all know that once they make one sale, the floodgates are going to open, and they're going to start coming one after another. So yeah, it's very fulfilling to see it. It's what we do. Again, it all comes back to the shared success,
Absolutely. For those that don't know, Avoya Travel really embraces the family concept, and it makes sense. We are, after all, a company in its third generation of family leadership, with Jeff and Mike Anderson leading the company that was first formed by their grandfather. But for people like Kerry and myself, it means a bit more, because on top of working for a family-owned company, we actually work with our own family members. My wife, Deborah, works for Avoya Travel. Kerry's daughter, Tegan's our producer of our segment today and part of the Avoya Trade marketing team. I've always embraced that. Kerry, what are your thoughts on Avoya Travel and this whole family element?
I love it. I love, my daughter Mallory worked for Avoya right when she got out of college. She worked on my team for a few months. She's in a different industry at the moment. And then Tegan, when she got out of the Marine Corps, came and worked with my team with support. Now she's with the marketing team. And, as a mom, it's great to watch her, because she has a tremendous work ethic. The quality of her work speaks for itself. She brings a unique skill set as a Marine Corps veteran and a combat photographer. She brings that perspective, which I think helps her in terms of seeing possibilities for military wives, military spouses, military families in general, to at some point have an independent agency of their own. Because just like myself, with the moving around and the mobility involved, you're in a day and time where you can have access to the internet and you can have your own independent agency. And so she sees that perspective of it, which is really cool. But it's awesome just to see, your adult child working with you. And there are so many. I have two daughters of an employee working for me. I've had a son of another employee working for me. I love the family aspect of it. But even, as cliche as it sounds, we've grown obviously tremendously as a company and as a network. But I still feel like Avoya is family to me, because, you work with different people. I talk to people all over our company all day long. And obviously you talk to them in a professional capacity, but the conversation will lend itself to a personal level at some point, a milestone, a birthday, an anniversary, a promotion. So we really get to know these people. And then, every once in a while we'll get to have an event where we get to see each other. And it's really cool. You never feel like a number here.
Absolutely. I totally agree. It's kind of the secret sauce, I've always said.
Mm-hmm.
Anything fun coming up or work-related trip-wise that you might want to share with us today?
I have a lot of travel coming up. In fact, in a couple of days, I'm going on an inaugural for Margaritaville at Sea. Next month, I'm going on Utopia of the Seas. I'm going, my crown jewel of the summer is Azamara around Ireland. I'm going there. Let's fingers crossed. I've had to reschedule this trip 4 times. I'll believe it when I actually step foot on the island. We're going there, MSC. So yeah, I've got quite a bit of travel coming up.
What is it about stepping on board a cruise ship that still kind of excites you after all the cruises you've taken, Kerry?
For my husband and I think it's personal. For us, it's doing a whole lot of nothing. It's just very relaxing to us to sit on a balcony with a cup of coffee in the morning or a glass of wine at night and just watch the ocean. As a cruise, you can make as busy or as quiet as you want. For us, it's just our opportunity to completely go off the grid and just relax, have a meal, maybe hit the casino. We don't do much of anything. It's not even so much about the ports. Ireland is about the ports. The Caribbean's really not about the ports for us anymore. But we just find it very relaxing vacation.
For sure. Hey, before we wrap up today, any advice you might offer someone new to the industry on ways to make their entry into the travel business a bit smoother and maybe find more success?
Just first and foremost, remind yourself that you're a business owner. You're owning your own agency. And so, and it's commission sales. And so you need to prepare yourself accordingly. It can be rough to start with commissions before you get a steady income stream coming in. So to prepare yourself financially, so that you can take that stress off your plate and focus on getting your agency up and running and making the sales, learning the vendors, finding your niche. Be passionate and be curious and be willing to learn all day, every day. I mean, just constantly learning. The learning never stops. The industry is constantly changing. Just to constantly be learning, reinvent yourself if necessary, become a niche, specialize in a niche, or find one that suits you or that suits the industry at a given point in time. But you're a business owner first and foremost.
All right, great advice there. Time for our final question. And guess what, Kerry, you get to be the first person to tackle the new final question because we're switching it up for the past 3.5 years. We simply asked people if they were excited about the future of leisure travel. And coming out of COVID, we always knew the answer was going to be a big yes. But now as we continue to evolve and we just want to dig a bit deeper. So, Kerry, the new final question is this. Projecting out the next 5 years in leisure travel, what areas do you think the travel industry needs to focus on to continue to see the success that's been going on in the last several years?
I think that the post-COVID boom is normalizing, if we even know what normal is at this point. I think it's normalizing in terms of the volume, the sales volume, but I don't think the post-COVID mindset is going anywhere anytime soon. I think people are acutely aware of what it's like to have travel taken from them. And I think that the if not now, when mentality is going to be with us for quite a while. And I think that might offset what you see in the news every day with the cost of living and inflation. I think that mindset may drive more value. People looking for more values in their travel, maybe not as extravagant as they might have been, but I don't see people giving up travel anytime soon. So I don't see the demand waning. I see it continuing to go full steam ahead. I think what's going to impact the industry moving forward, though, is the technology, most specifically the artificial intelligence. I think AI is really going to be a player in the industry, and I think that our agencies, travel agencies in general, are going to need to figure out that the human touch or the personal touch is going to win over the algorithm every time, and to figure out how to do that, how to leverage the AI, but add in their own personal human touch. I think specialization is going to be key, and I think you're going to see a demographic switch towards younger travels as boomers start traveling less frequently, and they're very tech savvy. So I think that the tech and the AI is going to become a big player in the industry.
Kerry Fredericks, everyone, with again fantastic advice. Director of Independent Agency Support for Avoya Travel. Kerry, I always love having you on the show. You pull no punches. You speak a ton of wisdom, and you're always great. So thanks for sharing with our audience today.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Absolutely. Next week, we are so excited because guess what? She's back. One of our favorite people in the industry, Dondra Ritzenholler, now as the CEO of Asamara Cruises, longtime friend to Avoya Travel, the Avoya Network, and of course, the travel industry in general. Next week, that exclusive Q&A with Dondra. I can't wait for that. She is a bundle of energy, and that should be a fantastic conversation. All right, let's touch base on some promotions here really quick because we continue to have our ongoing military promotion. You know, we've interviewed so many people, and Kerry was kind of alluding to that and talking about her daughter, Tegan, and just how when you come out of a military background, it really can be a great fit for the travel industry because they're well-traveled and they're focused and they're disciplined, and I could go on, and we have the success stories to prove that. So again, part of this military promotion, taking $100 off any of the curriculums at the Avoya Travel Academy, and also happy to take $100 off when they affiliate with the Avoya Travel Network. So fantastic stuff there. Speaking of the Avoya Travel Academy, they just added a 4th package in today. The news just coming out about that, so I don't have all the details for you, but all that information available at the avoyanetwork.com, the Avoya Travel Academy information there as well. What a fantastic program, though, just for the last 1.5 years, preparing people for this entry into this amazing industry. And those that have taken the program, they just flat out sell more. They have fewer issues. They're running a smoother business. They're on their way to big success. So again, reach out, get the process started, find out more, get in touch with somebody on the Avoya Travel Academy team to find out about which one of the packages makes sense for you. And then you get a chance to be in the Avoya Network and access our great resources like the Marketing Resource Center and all those amazing turnkey marketing assets. Avoya Live Leads continues to be a game changer in our industry. Agent Power is our technology, and by far the best technology you're going to find from any host or franchise company out there in leisure travel. Again, reach out to us at avoyanetwork.com and get all that information, get the process started. And while you're surfing online, how about giving us a like or a follow or make the bell ring, all those cool things you do on the social media channels? We're growing by leaps and bounds at Avoya Travel Network. And again, that's on all your favorite social media channels. Or you can just give me a call, send me an email, reach out. Hey, Chris, let's talk travel. Always glad to do that at chris.green@avoyatravel.com. There's the phone number. But again, avoyanetwork.com or our archive page on YouTube is really the best place to get a great deal of information about Avoya Travel and find out some of the nuances that make our network special. We're happy to fill in the blanks from there, though. Big thanks to Kerry Fredericks, lead up the Avoya agency support team there. Big thanks to her daughter, Tegan, who produced our segment today and is a great member of the trade marketing team. Thank you to you for being part of On Deck with Avoya. Don't miss next week. Donna Ritzenholler, you're going to want to check that one out for sure. Until then, take care, my friend.